Hello everyone, my name is Hannah Miller. I'm the Senior Community Educator for the Stormwater Division of the City of Winston-Salem, and today I'm going to talk about what happens when it rains and do a demonstration using my Enviroscape model to show you that. When it rains in Winston-Salem, the water runs off the paved surfaces of our roads, parking lots, buildings, and other hard surfaces to the nearest storm drain. We call this stormwater runoff. As it flows over the hard surfaces, the rainwater can collect a variety of pollutants before going to the storm drains. Locally, all the storm drains send the rainwater to the nearest body of water, like a creek or stream. Unlike our sanitary sewer system, the stormwater system does not go to a wastewater treatment plant. Now I'm going to show you what happens when it rains and demonstrate stormwater runoff using our Enviroscape model. Let's pretend that this big blue area right down here is one of our local waterways in Winston-Salem. Some of the common pollutants that we find in stormwater runoff include things like litter, pet waste, car wash water, leaking oil from your cars, fertilizer and pesticides, and sediment maybe from construction sites or other places. So first, I want to demonstrate what happens when our storm drains collect stormwater runoff from a building or a parking lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this colored water, and I'm going to pour it in this roof drain right up here on top of this building. You can see it's got a little storm drain pipe off here, and we're going to see what happens when that colored water, or our rain, flows off this building. Did you see that stormwater runoff come out that pipe and go into our local waterway right here? This is what happens when it rains. So when we get that rain, it goes to the nearest storm drain pipe and into our nearest local waterway. Now I'm going to show you what happens when stormwater runoff collects pollutants. First, I'm going to use some of these paper clippings here as our litter and our trash. Put some of that out. Next, we're going to take our dog on a walk. So, we've got our dog poop. We're going to take our dog on a walk all over the city. We're not going to pick up the poop like we should. Then, we're not going to follow the instructions on the bag of fertilizer when taking care of our lawn, and we're going to use way too much. So this is our fertilizer. I'm going to spread that out here. You can see it's running off into our roadway. Then we're going to take our car and drive it around the city. So our car is leaking oil and we haven't gotten it fixed yet. So as we drive around, our car here has leaked oil on our roadway. And then our neighbor decides to wash their car in their driveway at home rather than take it to a car wash. So they're going to wash their car right over here at their house. And that wash water runs out into the street. I'm going to cut here in just a second. I'm going to scroll down. And finally, our construction area, this spot right up here, is not being careful with the sediment at their construction site, and it's getting dirt all over the road. I'm going to use some dirt here and spread it all the way down the road. And this house over here has a lot of bare soil, and they don't have a lot of vegetation or mulch covering that soil to help keep it in place. So when it rains and that soil runs off, we call this soil erosion. So I'm going to put out some loose soil out here. Now I'm going to show you exactly what happens when it rains. And I'm going to use these squirt bottles to demonstrate our rain. So watch what happens to all these pollutants that we put out. You see what happens with all those pollutants flowing into the nearest local waterway? See how our big blue area down here is collecting all that oil and the dog poop and the litter from our streets and our fertilizer and our dirt? is what happens when it rains. All of our stormwater runoff, all of our squirt bottle water, collected those various pollutants and it brought it to that closest, nearest local waterway. This water looks pretty gross. So you can pan up again. So all of these pollutants are common pollutants and come from everyday activities that happen all over Winston-Salem. Sometimes people forget to pick up after their pet. Sometimes people don't always dispose of their trash properly. Sometimes our cars leak. But there are a lot of easy things that we can do about all of these pollutants to help prevent them from reaching our local waterways. Some simple things that we can do are scoop the poop. Make sure to clean up after your dog or pets. Pick up litter and make sure to dispose of your trash and recycling properly. Participate in a cleanup or adopt a stream, a park, or a street to help pick up litter in your community. Limit your use of fertilizers and pesticides. Only use what you need. Make sure to follow the instructions on the bag. Get your car checked for leaks regularly and make sure to fix those leaks. Clean up any spills immediately to prevent pollution from reaching our storm drains. Take your car to a commercial car wash where that wastewater can be captured and released into the sanitary sewer system. You can also stabilize your yard by planting grass, native plants, or other vegetation to help prevent soil erosion. And lastly, you can report any pollutants that you see going to any streams or storm drains to the stormwater department for us to investigate. So I want to remind everyone, if it's in our streets, it ends up in our creeks. Clean water is everyone's responsibility. Thank you for joining me today.